playoff game. What were some of your takeaways from that game that could benefit you going into this one?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously a fourth quarter game. It was, a very physical game. They did a good job of, of what they do up front, stopping the run and getting in on some pass plays and stuff and disrupting just the rhythm of some of our concepts and the rhythm of, myself and dropping back. So those are things, we saw, and, they're a good defense. They do some really good things up front. Secondary is really good too. And so, just looking at that game and sort of just putting ourselves back into what was at stake, as a playoff game, just the rivalry of, the organizations, and understanding, what's at stake for this Sunday too. It's a big game, and so we've definitely gone back and looked at a lot of stuff in that game.
Is it a benefit to having gone through that, not only just the pressure of the situation, but the speed, that defense, the challenges that they bring to the table?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always good to be able to, have some experience with a team that you're playing and stuff like that. I think it's huge. But, every year, obviously, you got guys that leave the team or they add on, and so it's a little bit different. Their style might be a little bit different, but in terms of like going against those certain guys and feeling that kind of pass rush and how they defend in the secondary, it's good. That I got some of that experience. All the guys with me, I got that experience. Really in January. So here we are months later and ready to go after him again.
That was the only game that you've gone beginning to end that the offense has scored less than 20 because they held you to, I guess, you had 4 field goals, I guess. Do you remember that as being kind of a slog and a real tough game?
Yeah. I just remember every play was, there's a lot at stake every single play. And you had to be on point. You had to be detailed and everything. I feel like there were some of my progressions where I got off some stuff too quick, and looking back on it, it's like, man, just stick to the progressions, don't overthink things, and so those are the things I saw on film. But to go back to your point, yeah, like every possession and down, it means a lot. And so in this kind of game, when you got really good defenses on both sides of the ball, it's like, man, how can you eliminate the turnovers, play smart. And when you get in the red zone, execute and be willing to actually score touchdowns. Obviously, the field goals are great and getting points are great, but to win these kind of games, man, we got to score touchdowns.
Can you identify where Parsons is on every play? Are you specifically looking for number 11?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think he's a game changer of a player, and so that's with every team that we go against. Who are the guys that can change a game in one play, one snap. So always having my antenna up where he's at, where he's lined up. It was the same thing in the playoff game last year. It'll be the same thing this Sunday. But they also have really good players everywhere else too. So it's just being in tune and on point every snap before I snap the ball. So.
In the first quarter against the Cowboys last year, you had a second and goal and you had the big screen to Debo, a quarterback draw, which is, I don't think we've had many designed runs. Were you excited about that play? And besides a quarterback sneak, have there been any other design runs that you've had?
I mean, yeah, it was just something that we saw in the scheme, so that's something we drew up and thought it was going to work at the time. Is it something that I love? Honestly, I love whatever helps our team win and move the ball. And if it takes a quarterback draw in a certain situation or scenario, by all means, let's do it. So. Whatever coach calls, I trust in, and that's what I go with. But going into a game, is it like we have all these quarterback runs and stuff like that? I mean, it just depends on the situation and stuff. But I'll do whatever it takes to help the team win. So yeah.
Looking at the numbers, in the first month, Kyle's preferring not to have the tight end stand in block and the fullback block. He's getting 5 out in the pattern and making them defend the whole field and kind of putting it on you to get the ball out quick. Is that the way you like to play? Is that a Kyle preference? Do you have a preference? Do you want 5 in the pattern? Would you rather have the tight end blocking? How do you look at offensive football?
Yeah, I feel like it just depends. Obviously against the team that we're going against, the situation, where we're at in the game. But obviously with the playmakers that we have, for my sake, it's like, man, if everyone could be an option, in the pass game in one play, like I love that. Obviously, like everyone is really good. You get the ball in space. They can make something crazy happen with it. So obviously it's nice as a quarterback to have really good players all be eligible in a pass play to get out and have an opportunity to get the ball. Depending on what the team's doing, if they're blitzing a lot or whatever, do we have to have help and have guys stay in? So be it. So that's something that obviously Kyle goes over, and he goes over it with us as quarterbacks, and then we're ready to roll come Sunday with what we're expecting and what our plan is. And so, but I mean, I think it'd be any quarterback's dream to have, all their guys out eligible for the pass play. But it just depends, like I said, on the situation.
Obviously, passer rating isn't the end all be all. You just want to win, but given that you have not lost a game that you started and finished, your lowest passer rating is what came against Dallas, obviously playoff game you win. Do you think that was your toughest game as a quarterback?
Yeah, honestly, I'd say so. They were a really good defense, and like I said, there was times where, just the pass rush or my rhythm, something just felt off in that game, and they did a good job of just getting me offset with some little things. And, maybe rush some things, and I feel like I didn't get in a good rhythm to process just what we had going on. So there were some areas in there where I could definitely be better at. And so, it's one of those games where I got to be smart with the ball. Like in the playoff game, had to be smart with it. Thought we did well with that. But at the end of the day, I do expect more out of myself to be able to, take the next step and, go through reads, progressions, even with the pass rush. That might be, a little bit more aggressive. And so that's where I'm at with that. But definitely one of my toughest games.
It seemed like the run game took hold in the second half. Was that a game, one of the more heavy adjustment games that you guys had offensively based on the struggles in the first half?
Yeah, I can't exactly remember. I say that because every game we have so many adjustments, second half. So I do remember in the first half it was, a struggle to sort of get the run game going. But once we're able to do that, obviously the pass game goes well, and we're able to have a well-balanced offense when we're able to obviously run and pass efficiently. So I feel like the coaches did a great job with making some adjustments in the run game, some tiny different little calls and adjustments, and we were able to get things rolling, I remember, in the second half. But it's just sort of how the game goes. You see how the first half goes, and then you make adjustments from there. So we'll see how the Sunday goes.
You alluded to it. Your teammates have said it. Cowboys guys are saying it. As Week 5 games go, this is maybe a little more important than your normal early season game. From your perspective, why is this game so meaningful?
I mean, yeah, just where we're at, what we're trying to do. We obviously every single game is important, and for this week we got the Cowboys, so this is the most important game to us. Obviously, if you go another step, further than that, just the history with the two organizations, the playoff games, all that stuff. The last couple years, I mean, everyone knows, it's no secret. Like it's a big deal to both organizations, and we take pride in obviously winning and things like that. So that's where we're at with that. But at the same time, man, it's another Sunday for us, and we just want to take care of business.
When it comes to Ronnie Bell, a few of your teammates have said that there's a different sort of focus in him on game day, the way that he locks in. Have you noticed that at all?
From what I've noticed from Ronnie is, man, he's just like sort of like a loose guy. I don't think he's like a tense guy. He likes to have fun and play football. And honestly, for me, I sort of feed off that, and I like that. Just as a young guy who can come in and sort of just play loose and have fun with the guys and sort of remind all of us that, man, we're playing ball, And yes, you got to be locked in, do your job, do it right, consistently. But Ronnie does a great job with, just bringing just a little bit more juice and energy with the guys being that young body, that young mind. So I feel like he's a little different in that area, and I like it.
With Kittle, you guys have connected for a couple fourth downs, obviously, but when he's not getting big numbers game after game, is there any guilt on your part not getting him the ball more, or you realize, okay, we're putting up another 30 points, it doesn't matter as long as the offense is going?
I mean, obviously, I want to feed all my guys as best as possible, across the board, every single game. But yeah, at the end of the day, man, I'm just doing what I'm asked within the offense, trying to move the ball, move the chains, put up points, and win. George has done a tremendous job, obviously, in the run game, the pass game, when the ball does come his way. And like the whole team says, and we say this all the time, like there's no ego, man. We want to win. We want to do whatever it takes. And everyone has their big games. It's just sort of how the play calls go and things like that. But I mean, if it were up to me, obviously, I'd love to have all my guys, including George, go for 150 every game and 4 touchdowns. But it's just the nature of the game and sort of how every game's different. But yeah.
After you scored, you hand the ball to an offensive lineman. Well, why do you do that? How do you pick out the offensive lineman, and what kind of grade do you give Aaron Banks of Spike?
I mean, I think the running backs really started that. You know, they score a touchdown and then they give it to the guys who do the work, the dirty work, who don't get all the glory. So to be able to have them spike it and have the celebration and get the crowd and everyone going, it means a lot to us. And so, yeah, when I got through, I got a 1 yard sneak for a touchdown. Like, to say that was all me, that's crazy. So turn around, and honestly, the first guy I see right there is Banks, and he gets juiced up. So his spike and everyone else's celebration around, man, I'd give it an A. we work on it to get to an A+ this week, though. So, all right.